We're now beginning our study on physical geography. Through the presentation, you'll be asked to complete several activities. You can stop, pause, and rewind as necessary. You will have a student activity sheet that you will need to complete. There are directions for each section on the activity sheet, and also it will let you know where to place your work in your notebook or binder. Let's get started. Here's the first slide, which I call your pre-video lecture slide. Here you'll be asked to do several things, including maybe watching a video, answering questions, or completing vocabulary activities. On this slide, you see it has a click on the link for essential vocabulary. I will click here for you, and you will go to a link called Quizlet. Here you can review the vocabulary words, play a game, or do a quiz. Okay, back to our pre-video slide. On this particular slide, we have 4 vocabulary words we need to put into our vocab section of your notebook and binder. They are climate, weather, vegetation regions, and weather phenomena. Please use the template that we have in class and that's found in your notebook for these vocabulary words. If I'm a student in class now, I'm going to press pause and complete the activity for the 4 vocabulary words. Okay, our word now is climate. This is going to be our focus for the presentation. Here I have put down climate and using the vocabulary template for our class, have definition, visual, the importance, and my own definition of climate. As you can see, climate is the weather in one location for a period of time. I have a visual of dryness and some water here, lightning storm. And why is climate important to us? It impacts agriculture, our activities for recreation, and also our clothing choices. Climate also is influenced by 3 traits. They are temperature, seasons, and precipitation. Temperature is going to be how hot or cold a place is. Seasons can be hot or cold, wet or dry, or like us, summer, winter, spring, and fall. Snow, sleet, hail, and rain are known as precipitation. This is a word you already know from your earth science class too. On your student direction sheet, I've asked you to place this information into your Go section of your notebook and binder. And Go stands for your graphic organizer section. There are also elements that influence climate. There are going to be 5 elements that you're going to be creating a Go, also known as a graphic organizer for in your notebook. The first one is latitude. Latitude is important because the closer you are to the equator, the hotter the temperature. The farther away from the equator, the cooler the temperature. This is why people who like to live in the northern part of our nation come down to Florida and Bahamas and Carolinas during the winter time because it's warmer down here near the equator. And folks want to get away from the heat, will go to New York, will go to Canada for the cooler adventures. Wind. Wind's also important because you know at times it's hot outside, now wind comes through, it's real hot and breezy, or a nice cool refreshing breeze will come through. So what does wind do? Wind and ocean currents help transfer heat from the one part of the earth to the other part of the earth. It's called convection. Wind also blows in curved lines because the earth is rotating on its axis. This is called the Coriolis effect. More terms you learn in science class. Elevation. The height and area is above sea level. As we go higher and higher in elevation, our temperature drops. A good example would be Denver, Colorado, known as the Mile High City. It's a mile high, it's a mile above sea level. I'm going to go to a little site here that shows you Denver, Colorado, and the surrounding cities and how the temperatures will float up and down based on elevation. Here you see a map, okay? You learned this in first part of school. The map is showing me the different climates and temperatures. Here at 10,000 feet above sea level, the location of Leadville is at 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Going down to 8,000, I have Air Force Academy at 77 degrees. Going lower at 6,500 feet, we have Fort Carson at 79 degrees and Trinidad at 81. And coming down lower to 5,000 feet, we have Lamar at 9 degrees and Burlington at 82 degrees. So as you can see, we start down here in this lower area, we have hotter temperatures. Going up to the next level, get a little bit cooler. Next level, cooler. And the highest point is going to be your coldest one at Leadville at 66 degrees. The question down here says, write a statement that describes the relationship between temperature and elevation. So what would you think about this map and helping you answer this question? Based on what I saw, I would say, as I increase my elevation, the temperature drops. Here is a graphic that shows you again elevation and temperature. I've asked you to press pause and answer the questions on your sheet for this particular slide. Please note on this side you have elevation and on this side you have the temperature. We use Fahrenheit in America, so be cautious of that, okay, when you're answering the questions. The next element is proximity to water. The word proximity means closeness. Like if you were to estimate or approximate something, you're trying to get close to a number. Okay? So proximity to closeness to water. Water influences temperature because it's slow to heat up or cool down. It also can influence our rain, snow, sleet, and hail, known as precipitation. So what does all that stuff mean? Okay, here it is. Summertime, the water is cooler than the surrounding land. This is why you have a lot of folks going to the beach during the summertime. Like Buckrow Beach, Virginia Beach, Myrtle Beach, okay, Daytona Beach, all beaches around the world. You will go there during the summertime because the water is cooler than the surrounding land. In the wintertime, the water is warmer than surrounding land. Have you ever seen those people out there on the TV shows where they do a little polar plunge in the water wintertime? It's not going to be like that freezing in this area where we live at because it's getting warmer. Now the water, of course, will be cold up by the North Pole and that sort of thing. The other one we have is the influence of ocean currents. Okay, so the ocean currents are going to bring in warmness and coldness as well. And here are two that are important to know: the North Atlantic Current and also the Peru Current. Now Ireland's up there in the northern part of our world, and this current is going to be actually warm, and it helps keep Ireland warm and moderate and so lush and green and beautiful looking. The Atacama Desert is over here in the southern part of our world, and the Peru Current keeps that area really dry. Okay, so back to latitude zones. And you can see the importance of latitude. I mentioned it before in Unit 1, mentioned it in earlier slides, and now we have it again. So, our climate zones are based on 3 huge numbers. Low latitudes are from 0 to 30 degrees north and south. Mid latitudes from 30 to 60 degrees north and south. And high latitude goes from 60 degrees to 90 degrees north and south. Now, it's a pattern here. The pattern is based on 30, okay? 0 to 30, 30 to 60, and 60 to 90. Why is that? Because latitude goes from 0 degrees, the equator, to 90 degrees north, North Pole, and 0 degrees, the equator, to 90 degrees south, South Pole. Okay, now earlier we said the lower climates are going to be your warmer latitudes, your warmer climate zones. Mid-latitude, where we live, are going to be your moderate. And high latitudes are going to be your cold stuff. Think polar bears and icicles. Now, each latitude zone has several different names of climates found in those zones. Low latitudes include tropical wet and dry, arid, semi-arid, and highland. Now, the word arid means dry, like a desert, okay? So think about the deodorant, arid extra dry. You know, you put it on the arm when nice and dry, okay? So arid means dry. Mid-latitudes are where we live. So we have semi-arid, arid, Mediterranean, humid continental, marine west coast, and highland. Please note here that we have some overlapping climate regions, semi-arid and arid. Because the earth is a natural thing, it's no starting point, cutoff point for natural occurrences, so you'll see some overflow throughout the 3 latitude zones. The last latitude zone will be high latitudes. That includes subarctic, tundra, and ice cap. Again, think about polar bears and coldness and snow. Okay? Well, that will end our first presentation for part 1 of physical geography. We'll continue on tomorrow with the other sections, which include vegetation and weather phenomena and human environmental impact. Thank you for your time.